What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your third stimulus check update. We have breaking news coming last night. They passed a pretty big resolution, a motion to proceed with the reconciliation rule in the third stimulus check. And it's going down right now on the Senate floor. We're going to hear from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer regarding everything that is going on. And we're also going to hear from Mitch McConnell, who is not very happy about this. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos regarding the third stimulus check and the different buckets of money that you can claim, such as mortgage and rental assistance, possible student loan forgiveness, Social Security increases, and we cover it all here on this channel. And give this video a like. It really helps out our channel. All right, guys, let's jump right in. So last night, the Senate passed the first step towards using the reconciliation card and officially getting you the $1,400 stimulus checks. I have some brand new information about that also from President Joe Biden. As you can see here, while President Biden continues to discuss a stimulus deal with Republicans, Democrats are readying a procedure, the reconciliation procedure, that will allow them to pass much of the legislation without any Republican votes at all. The Senate passed a procedural motion with a 50-49 vote to move forward with the budget resolution, clearing the way for passing many provisions included in the President Biden's $1.9 third stimulus check package, $1.9 trillion, through the reconciliation procedure that was passed yesterday. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says Joe Biden is totally on board with using the reconciliation procedure. I've been talking to him every day. Our staffs have been talking multiple times a day. So basically, this is the first step in the reconciliation process that has been passed now. Passed the Senate vote 50-49. Basically, all 50 Democrats voted on it, and 49 Republicans said no, and one wasn't there. So basically, they were able to pass this. This is the first step in passing the third stimulus check package with the reconciliation card. The Democrats are moving forward with the reconciliation card because it does not seem like there's any Republican support at all unless they go all the way down to somewhere around $600 billion, which is less than 1/3 that President Biden wants for the stimulus checks and the stimulus package, the third stimulus checks, I should say. Well, it's pretty safe to say that Mitch McConnell is not very happy about Democrats moving forward without any Republican support at all. However, as you know, if you've been watching this channel, Democrats are calling out Republicans equally as well, such as just yesterday, we seen a interview or speech from Senator Bernie Sanders saying Republicans have done this multiple times. In fact, they did this to pass a $1.9 to $2 trillion bill that was the Trump tax cuts. And Bernie Sanders says a lot of that money went to wealthy corporations in the Trump tax cuts. And that was passed through the reconciliation bill, the reconciliation card. However, the Republicans were the ones that used it. So Senator Bernie Sanders, who is now the Senate budget chairman, says, well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And basically says, if you guys can do it, we can do it. And Bernie Sanders says, at least, we're doing this for the people, although the Trump tax cuts did have some tax cuts in there for middle family America, middle earth, middle income families in America, or AKA middle earth with Frodo and the Shire. Well, new headlines are popping up today that Mitch McConnell is not happy about this and seeks to inflict as much political pain on the Democrats as he possibly can. Senate Minority Leader, no longer Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, today announced that Republicans will force Democrats to take tough votes on issues ranging from stimulus checks for illegal immigrants to higher taxes on small businesses when the Senate moves a budget resolution this week. Quote, we'll be getting senators on the record about whether taxpayers should fund checks for illegal immigrants, whether Democrats should raise taxes on small businesses in the midst of this historic crisis, and whether generous federal funding should pour into school districts where the unions refuse to let schools open, Mitch McConnell said today on the Senate floor. Quote, this is just a small taste of what's to come. Senate Republicans will have an opportunity to offer an unlimited number of non binding amendments to the resolution Democrats plan to vote on later this week, as long as the amendments are relevant to the budget. Leaders in both parties have often skipped the arduous process of passing budget resolutions in recent years. Remember, budget resolution in this case means the third stimulus check package, because they want to avoid exposing their members to tough votes during these so-called voter-rama sessions. However, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Speaker Nancy Pelosi need to pass this budget resolution in order to trigger the budget reconciliation process for President Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus package, which will allow it to pass in the Senate with a simple majority vote. Mitch McConnell said today that he will use this week's budget debate to attack Democratic priorities in Biden's relief plan. President Joe Biden is committed to doing the larger stimulus checks of $1,400 compared to the $1,000 that the Republicans want to pass and the lower eligibility limits. However, President Biden has suggested that he might be open to adjusting the eligibility limits, the income limits for the stimulus checks. President Joe Biden said during a call with House Democrats today that he is committed to boosting the stimulus checks to $2,000 by giving most Americans $1,400 in direct payments in the next round of the third stimulus check. However, Biden did crack the door open to tightening the income restrictions on which Americans are eligible to receive the checks. Under the relief package passed by Congress late last year in December, the second stimulus check package, individuals making less than $75,000 and couples making less than $150,000 receive the full $600 payment. Quote, "We can't walk away from an additional $1,400 in direct stimulus checks that we proposed because the people need them," President Biden told the Democrats in the call today. "We can better target them," he said, "but I'm not going to start my administration by breaking a promise to the American people." President Biden also called on Democrats to stick together as they will go to pass the nearly $2 trillion stimulus package to the American people. And he made clear that shifting towards the Republicans' plan of $618 billion by the 10 Republican senators were, quote, "not in the cards." President Biden says, "I'll have your back. I ask that you have mine." Next up, let's go directly to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who's on the Senate floor just moments ago talking about and details of the third stimulus check package.
Yesterday afternoon, the Senate took the first step in preparing a rescue package for an economy and a country that is still in the throes of crisis. The $1.9 trillion budget resolution is designed to meet the needs of a country that has been devastated by disease and recession for nearly a year. It's been such a long time. We need real help. Unlike most crises, which affect one particular sector of the economy or another, one part of the country or another, the COVID-19 pandemic affects the entire country and nearly every aspect of American life. There is not one person in America, in my judgment, whose life hasn't been significantly changed by this awful crisis. The challenges we must overcome are manifold. So we must produce a bill that addresses each of those changes and challenges in turn: housing and agriculture and education, help for the unemployed, small business, our healthcare systems, our state and local governments. And we cannot fall short of the needs in each of those areas. History has taught us hard lessons about the cost of small thinking during times of big challenge, and about the cost of delay during moments of great urgency. Secretary Yellen told the Democratic caucus yesterday that it is her belief that if Congress fails to dedicate the necessary resources to meet the needs of the American people and survive this crisis, we will see long-term scarring in our economy, and our country would be mired in the COVID crisis for years. The income inequality and wealth inequality that plagues our nation and has been exacerbated by this crisis, because it's certainly the lower half of the American people who have suffered the most, needs to be remediated And that's what we aim to do. We must not repeat the mistakes of the past and do too little, too reluctantly, and too late. We will not repeat the mistakes of the past. Our goal is simple: to help the American people and the American economy, and do it fast. Over the next 2 days, the Senate will be in session for debate on the budget resolution. There will be an open bipartisan amendment process. We invite participation from both sides of the aisle in that process. But I urge members not to lose sight of what this legislation will mean for the American people, for Americans who have lost their jobs through no fault of their own. This rescue package will extend enhanced unemployment benefits. For parents, I've spoken to so many who are desperate for the day they can send their children back to school safely. This rescue package will include resources for schools to make that happen quicker. For teachers and firefighters and bus drivers and nurses worried about the fate of their jobs, this rescue package will follow through on providing aid for state and local governments. For restaurants and bars, for theaters and farmers, for small businesses of every stripe, this rescue package will make another round of federal loans and grants available to you. And for every American struggling to make ends meet, who month by month has fallen further behind on the rent or the mortgage, who has had the power or the heat or the water shut off, for every American who has had to choose which meal they were going to skip that day, this rescue package will send direct assistance in the form of a check. And of course, this rescue package will support the production and distribution of the vaccine. That is the key to ending the crisis. The past administration, in terms of distribution, in terms of working with the states to get these vaccines out, has been so derelict. It's been one of the greatest failures of any presidency. The new Biden administration is focused on getting making more vaccines, getting them out quickly, getting them out fairly, doing it effectively and efficiently. We have to help get that done. So I, alongside the Democratic committee chairs responsible for drafting this legislation, will be meeting with President Biden at the White House today in a few hours from now. Our caucus is eager to discuss next steps, and we are united in our resolve to deliver on a rescue plan that provides the American people the relief they so desperately need. I yield the floor and note the absence of a quorum.
Next up, we'll go to Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who's not happy, directly on the Senate floor today.
Congress has poured more than $110 billion into making education safe. As of last week, states and local school districts had only spent about $4 billion of the roughly $68 billion we set aside for K through 12 schools. That leaves $64 billion in the pipeline already. And remember, science tells us that schools are largely made safe with simple precautions. Science is not the obstacle. Federal money is not the obstacle. The obstacle is a lack of willpower, not among students, not among parents, just among the rich, powerful unions that donate huge sums to Democrats and get a stranglehold over education in many communities. Apparently, big labor's talking points have already displaced Dr. Fauci as the White House go-to source. The President's Chief of Staff keeps saying we need even more massive federal funding before teachers can go back. There's no scientific basis for that, none whatsoever. Less than a day after several Senate Republicans spent literally 2 hours meeting with President Biden, Senate Democrats plowed ahead with a party line vote to set the table for a partisan jam. The new president talks a lot about unity, but his White House staff and congressional leadership are working with a different playbook. We'll be discussing the facts on schools, on jobs, and on health care in depth in the days to come. But the rushed budget process that will play out this week is exactly the wrong path toward making law. Senate Republicans will be ready and waiting with a host of amendments to improve the rushed procedural step that's being jammed through. We'll be getting senators on the record about whether taxpayers should fund checks for illegal immigrants, whether Democrats should raise taxes on small businesses in the midst of this historic crisis, and whether generous federal funding should pour into school districts where the unions refuse to let schools open. And this is just a small taste. The American people will see Republicans are focused on smart and responsible policies to reopen the country. And they'll see Democrats who seem desperate to make their first act in power the same kind of massive, partisan, poorly targeted borrowing spree that permanently wounded the last Democratic presidency right out of the gate.
Well, as you can see, their Senate Minority Leader now, Mitch McConnell, is not happy about the Democrats jamming this bill through and using the reconciliation card, of which the first motion of the reconciliation bill has already been passed. So I will be keeping you updated on all the latest details of the third stimulus check update and when we expect to receive it. Make sure you're subscribed down below with the bell icon on so you get notifications. Click the bell next to the subscribe button and share this video with your family and friends so that they know about the third stimulus check, the unemployment enhancement boost raise, Social Security raises, student loan forgiveness. We cover it all here on this channel, as well as mortgage and rental assistance. So make sure to share this video with your family and friends so that they don't miss out on these different buckets of money also. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA, where I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.